It was a lovely day, the sun was shining, not a bird in sight, but that all changed when I glanced down. In the few seconds it took me to examine the marvelous scenery around. Someone had spilled my orange juice. For such a heinous crime, they must be found and they must be obliterated. Inconveniently, Hollow Nest happens to be quite a large place, not so easy to track down a culprit. So, thinking it the most logical endeavor, I ventured to the town, looking for at the very least where to start. Strangely though, the town, once bustling with life, now abandoned and devoid of the living, with not a soul in sight. Nothing but the strange sighs of the wind remained. Nowhere else to go, I ventured into the well, seeking even the faintest clue as to who could have been responsible, though all I found were long-lost minds. Nevertheless, I did not let the lack of info deter me, pushing onwards, being rewarded with what I can only assume is confirmation that I'm on the right track. A more powerful foe than the others, clearly placed here by the culprit to slow down my escapades. Though the foe, sadly, just an imposter. An individual parading an armor far too large for their skills to fill. And they fell. Just a mockery of strength. Finally, an individual who can communicate. They don't seem to know much about who did it, though they seem like they're here to help. And being the smart and intelligent person I am, I jumped into the glowy orb they made. Turns out it was a trap. Who could have possibly seen this coming? And now I have to, clean their prison so I can leave. Not seeing any other option, I clean up the prison and continue on my way. With my newly acquired ability, a new area was now available to be conquered in search of the deplorable one. Almost immediately encountering a potential lead, though unhelpfully they ran away at the sight of me. Clearly because they'd never seen a warrior as intimidating as me. Or they just found me incredibly ugly. Using a conveniently placed ally, I clawed my way onto the platform in pursuit, only to be dragged into a side quest from someone in great need of aid. Not being a terrible person, I freed the pathetic fool from the grasps of the foe, continuing with post-haste in an attempt to gain back lost ground. Finally catching up, expecting answers, though all I got was yelled at and berated, followed up with an attempt to end my life. What is wrong with this person? They insult me, try to kill me, and then run away like a coward when they're losing. Hopefully, I never have to interact with that weirdo ever again. Somehow, this random dead guy who just happened to conveniently have a dash cloak in her arena was more useful than her. Returning to the crossroads with my newfound mobility, I killed a pregnant mother, which I have mixed feelings about. Though she did try to kill me, clearly completely unprovoked. Beneath the corpses of the mother and children, I discovered a breakthrough, an individual covered in my orange juice. Though at first they seemed distracted, their mind distant and abstract, perhaps this orange juice spiller was up to even more nefarious schemes than just spilling my drink. Cleaning this mess up is going to be a lot more painful than I thought. Arriving at the village of the Mantises, I was met with nothing short of the worst greeting I have ever encountered. Pure hostility, just attempt after attempt to relieve me of my head. Though after pushing through, I found a shelf of dead mantises' claws, which, though a rather weird thing to keep a collection of, will be invaluable in my quest to eliminate the one who did the unspeakable crime of spilling a cup of juice. After defeating their leaders, the mantises appear to have had a shift of heart, still remaining silent and being for the most part completely useless to the search. They at least have stopped trying to remove my head, which is rather considerate of them. The wizards were somehow even less helpful than the mantises, teleporting around launching homing orbs. Could they at the very least have the common decency to not jump through space-time? I discovered no new info on the Soul Sanctum, though I did just eliminate a tyrant and I can now slam my face into the ground at ill-advisable speeds, so I guess it wasn't a complete waste of time. Knocking some pebbles loose with my face, I entered the mine, still in a frantic search to find any actual useful information on who spilled my drink. Eliminated yet another useless individual who was never taught how to share. There was clearly enough space for both of us on that bench. Following the obscure, terribly designed architecture that required me to ascend, approaching the summit, only to have to descend immediately to where there was for some reason a hidden artifact which allowed me to traverse tremendous distances. At this point it's starting to get ridiculous. Why are there so many weird artifacts which unlock mystical abilities but not a single clue as to where the culprit is? Further exploration led me to breaking a thing that appeared to be alive out of a crystal, who seemed to link with my soul, which I'll worry about the implications of later. Finally, some clues about who's responsible. Well, they would have been, if I didn't zone out and ignore most of what she said. Though I got the important parts: slap 3 dreamers, find the fiend. As I refused to learn from past questionable decisions, I poked another weird figure who promptly linked with my soul, which took me completely by surprise. Who could have possibly seen this coming? Well, the last one hasn't done anything bad, so I guess it's probably fine. Visited a kind soul to make my nail more spiky before proceeding deep into the earth to meet someone who looked suspiciously like me. But surprisingly, all they wanted to do was fight, so I relieved them of their life, collecting my reward, the ability to double jump. Uncovering a strange property of the sword I received from the moth, I entered the brain of the decimated vessel, dispatching of it as well. Apparently I hurt the walking crystal's feelings by kicking it off its bench, so I beat it up again so it would stop bothering me and ascended to the peak, gaining an ore to further increase my nail's lethality. Descending deep into the sewer network, finding a defender of the dung. A bit of an odd thing to defend, but I'm not going to judge. Though he is blocking the drainage switch, so he had to be relocated. The path drained, I collected a tear, which for some reason makes me impervious to acid. How it does this, I'm not entirely sure, though I'm not going to question it too deeply. I have bigger things to worry about, like eliminating the 3 dreamers. So I dropped a conveniently placed chandelier on one of the defending knights and eliminated the remainder. Ascending to the top of the tower, slaying the first dreamer. 1 down, 2 to go. In search of more info, I explore the very edge of the kingdom, get ripped off and fight Shouty Bug Lady again. Inspect a weird shiny thing, only to almost be crushed. Perhaps this is a sign that I should stop interacting with random things I find, because they often lead to near-death experiences. On the other hand, learning from one's mistakes is smart, and being smart is for nerds. Stumbled upon a Colosseum of Fools, which must be referring to the bugs you fight in it, for I'm no fool as I only make the best and most logical decisions. Eliminated a weird guy living in the walls, surrounded by a sea of his own kind's corpses. A bit weird, but as he was hostile, I guess he can join the pile. Needing a holiday, I returned home to the Abyss, where I received a very warm welcome from my siblings, though their company was a little painful, so I turned on the light to banish them. Exploring further, jumping into the inconspicuous void soup. Home being a bit drab this time of year, I returned to Greenpath and learned to paint. Finally snapping back to my senses, I remembered I was on a quest of the utmost importance to eliminate the one who spilled my orange juice. So I went and eliminated the jellyfish that was for some reason defending it. Another person who looks like me, maybe this one is actually friendly. Nope, definitely not a friend. This bench looks comfy. I refuse to learn till the day I die. Final dreamer dead. Now it's time to go and clean up the rest of the mess my orange juice caused, so I can eliminate the culprit, the Radiance. Invading the minds of a number of dead souls, and killing the dead versions of them they always dreamed they could be. I feel like I'm invading their privacy by doing this, though they are dead, so they probably can't pursue legal action. So at the very least, from a legal perspective, I'm covered. With the recently deceased eliminated, I pursued even older foes. I have to presume it was due to their advanced ages, but they were all terribly confused as to what they were supposed to be doing and what was going on. One seemed to think we were playing hide and seek, another ping pong. This one only wanted to play the drums. Zero was for some reason obsessed with me removing gunk from my teeth, with toothpicks far too large for any kind of precision work. Only two of them actually figured out we were fighting, and they both liked annoying spinny spiky things far too much. Though there was one far above the others, the most rational and intelligent of them all. Gorb the Ascended One, far too glorious to even capture with words. May his soul rest free forever in Ascension. The dream is freed. I learned the last nail art. Poked something I probably shouldn't have again and shouted into the void. With few things remaining threatening the Kingdom of Hollownest, I set off to dispatch them. Killing a bush, which is somehow considered a god, whatever this monstrosity is. I swear, I didn't want to kill the bee. I know they're good for the environment, but it locked me in a room with it. I had no other options. A creepy guy who derived joy from trapping things in jars. And lastly, the traitor to my Mantis buddies. For some reason, this person thought that I, the random bug who couldn't talk, who just rocked up on their doorstep, was the best option to go and deliver flowers to her husband's grave. I was, but that's beside the point. One should be more careful with who they send to do their bidding. With the flower delivered, I go and achieve the greatest honor and title, the title of the Fool. Taking my newfound riches to make the smartest investment in Wellcoin. Trust me, it's going to the moon. All the poking random things has finally come back to bite me. I now have to go perform a series of rituals because the circus is too loud and disturbing the villagers. Everything finally cleaned up, I go and say hi to Mom and Dad, checking out his magnificent buzzsaw collection on the way, and return home to where I was born for the last time. Everything prepared, I go to finally kill the thing this has all been about. The one who spilled my orange juice shall fall. Though they have fallen, I still do not feel peace. I know they are still out there. I have to go and complete the Pantheon of Holiness, eradicating them for good, destroying the absolute Radiance. The Hollow Knight, somewhat aware in the first battle, aided me in the attempt to rid the world of the orange juice spilling scourge, though in this fight he is at full strength and will not hold back. Though he will fall like the 40 bosses I just faced before him, for nothing will stop me from ridding the world of such a menace. How could anyone spill someone's orange juice and just run, not even apologizing for the truly despicable action? Finally, I stand face to face with the culprit. Time for them to die. Billy finished the job. The world can now exist in peace, knowing the orange juice spiller is forever no more.